So the 3rd of July is a very normal day, and well, it's not a normal day because we're saying goodbye to you, Andy, and to you, Teeny. So it's a sad day. There are a lot of things that are going to pass, and someone has maybe you have the desire stronger to still talk about something or to talk to someone and solve something. And there's a view back, but there's also the view to the future. What will come? What possibilities are going to open up at the new position? What will the others say? What challenges will come? And how will I be in a few weeks? So there's sorrow, there's satisfaction, there's excitement, there's fear, there's all kind of things. And I think the same way it was with the people of Israel when they were in the desert. So when the Pharaoh let the people go, God didn't guide them through the land of Philistia. That would have been the shortest way. But God thought if the people of they get involved in a fight, they would regret the regret going from Egypt, and they would want to go to Egypt. That's why God let the people go another way and led them through the desert to the people. Okay, so then it came to pass when Pharaoh had let the people go that God did not lead them by the way of the land of Philistines, although that was near. For God said, lest perhaps the people change their mind when they see war and return to Egypt. So God led the people around by way of the wilderness of the Red Sea. And the children of Israel went up in orderly ranks out of the land of Egypt. And Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for he had placed the children of Israel under solemn oath, saying, God will surely visit you, and you shall carry up my bones from here with you. So they took their journey from Succoth and camped in Etham at the edge of the wilderness. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of cloud to lead the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, so as to go by day and night. He did not take away the pillar of cloud by day, or the pillar of fire by night, from the people. So after a long time, God is finally listening to his people, and he wants to give them the freedom, and he wants to bring them back into the promised land. Moses should lead them there, and because the Egypt didn't want the people of Israel to go, he sent 10 plagues until the Pharaoh is really like, go away once and for all, get away. I don't want to have anything to do with you. And now they're okay. Now they're in Etham. Behind the Israelites is their home. Before them, the wilderness, the desert, and after that, there should be this promised land. But what are they seeing? Oh. A hill of sand. What is behind that? Desert, wilderness. It's like so. From the 4.5 years behind them, it's like being on the road is dangerous. So they're somehow in between. There's a place in between. And you know what? God Himself. God Himself has brought the Israelites to exactly that situation. It's like God entrusts to His people new things. God entrusts us new things. Like, of course, Israel wanted to go out of Egypt, and it wasn't nice there, and they were oppressed, and their sons, they were even killed shortly after they were born. But somehow Egypt also had something to offer. It's like they were safe here. There was something to eat always around, and you had a roof over your head. There was safety, and there was something to do. So the pots of meat, they took care of Israel in Egypt. So I was wondering If Andy probably experienced Karlsruhe as a time in Egypt, but I would say it's not that way because Andy says it has been nice. It's very nice here. And I love this place and I love this church. I heard that from you and from your family as well. But but it then even more it could be like, well, we will stay here and I like it here. But there are these moments when God entrusts something to us, a new thing. And because living, that means change, that means developing, that there's something new. And God entrusts to us that we would live our life and that we would leave the old behind and say yes to something new. So you'll be the he will be the referent this, of youth Germany wide, and in a few days you will not be people of Karlsruhe anymore, but people of Witten. So there are a lot of questions. So how will you guys start off in Witten? How will the move would how will everything be okay with the move with the car? Will we be able to take all um furniture? Will our children find a place in the kindergarten? Will they find friends? But the God of the Bible, He entrusts us from time to time that we would say yes to new things. Even though we might only see glimpses and schemes of what is before. That's not only for you, but that's for all of us. Everyone knows these moments when the normal life, we suddenly go out of the normal life. It's not continuing just like it was before, but there's something new. And it excites us and it wants us to get started with something new. So there, of course, these times, like most of us know when you're finishing with school, but maybe also when you're changing the city to go to study somewhere else, and there's so much new, and it's always hard to let go of old and loved and familiar things, to let go of them and leave them behind. Just like that, you can experience new things. But then the question is, do we have to leave everything behind? But like some people, they close a book and they start again. Our God is a gracious God who loves us and He knows that our past is important for us. They are part of our life. It's part of our life and it makes us into what we are. That was also like that back then. So Moses took the bones of Joseph. I think this very, very small note in the text is very comforting because Joseph had the people of Israel swear, if God would once come to help to you, then you should take my bones. So God doesn't say that you should leave all the relationships that you have built behind. No, you can take experiences and what you've gathered. You can take it with you. But this leaving, it also gives us the opportunity to let go what was heavy on you, so you can leave that behind. It's a great opportunity to let go. Maybe like very practically, like in your furniture and your stuff, and some things we will just throw them away, and some things we will take and then pack out and be like, why did I throw that away? But you will start in this new life, and you can think about it. What would we want to do different in this new phase of life, and this opportunity that is not only for the family Bobe, but it's for every one of us. And I think very, very special also for us as a church. If we this change, we also start into something new, something unknown. So for 10 years it was very clear. Beplos home zone jump. You ask Andy. He knew everything. Everything was settled, and it was good. It worked. perfect. God is entrusting new things to you and to us. That we can take something where you have given new things to us, and we can also leave things behind that are not for us anymore. For the next step, we can leave things behind, and God, He entrusts new things to us, but He also promises that He will not go, but God will be with us. And the strongest promise in this passage is really this sentence: "And the Lord went before them." By day in a pillar of cloud to lead the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, so as to go by day and by night. So if you are on the road, God is with them. I will come with you. It's a this God is with you. God is there. That sounds very much like a Christian saying that like is already so normal. But do we actually know what that means? Like, wait a moment and think about that. Think about it for a moment. What an amazing statement. That God, the all-knowing, the all-powerful, He says, I'll come with you. I will be with you. God is with them in the form of a pillar of cloud and of fire. So, pillars are strong. They protect, they give room. So they open an open space between the bottom and the roof. And the architects would know that the pillar, like buildings wouldn't stand. The pillar makes a building stand. But one thing the pillar cannot do, it cannot move. It doesn't have wheels or something. You cannot take them with you. They stay. But this pillar, the pillar of cloud and fire, that is moving. God, who holds the whole world in His hand, who created the universe, the everlasting and all present. He says, I'll come with you. This pillar moves, leading the way. He's coming with them. That is God, the protector. He comes with you, with either into the future, and with you into the future, and with us into the future. God is with us and comes with us. Well, so you could misunderstand that, because God is coming with His people doesn't mean that the people are going and God is coming behind them. No, actually, God is going before them. God leads them. And you said that perfectly on Friday again. Jesus said, you follow me, not I follow you. Because Jesus, God Himself, He defines the way. He defines the direction of sky. He defines the speed. The life with God doesn't work like you take God on your way and say, "Go, God, please come with us and bless the way that we have chosen to go." No, God goes before and we can go behind. That is following. Discipleship. God leads. He decides where we'd go. Is that the best way? Of course, now you could say, well, of course that is the best way. But I ask you to be careful, because a theologian has said that, so the direct way from Egypt to Canaan would be able, it's possible to get from Egypt to, the direct way is 14 days, and with maybe people who are sick, 4 weeks, and they are going to the desert. They're not taking the direct way on the coast, but they're going. So following this pillar of cloud took them 40 years. It's not the quickest and not the most effective way. So, again, the Bible verse. Uh, Then it came to pass when Pharaoh had let the people go that God did not lead them by the way of the land of Philistines, although that was near. For God said, lest perhaps the people change their minds when they see war and return to Egypt. So God led the people around by way of the wilderness of the Red Sea. So God takes this other road to protect their people from fights and also from a wavering heart. So sometimes we experience that too when there's something new and there's something new coming. It's not always perfect, and there are a lot of things that this is difficult, and there is throwbacks and difficulties and hindrances, and sometimes you ask yourself the question: is this really the best way? Well, you don't have to. I didn't have to think a lot when I was thinking about the last month. That there was definitely some other ways, not the direct ways that were there that you had to take. And it wasn't always the easiest and simplest and straightest way. And there was some throwbacks and maybe you know that when you want to somehow go into something new and you experience a lot of throwbacks. So God led the people of Israel in a huge, huge way. But the special thing is that this way, it wasn't just in vain. No, it became a very, very special travel. They were experiencing amazing things. For example, they didn't encounter several enemies that they probably would have encountered in the other way. They experienced a daily miracle that they would be provided for every day with food and with um, meat, and that completely faithful every day. And God also who gives these people the law, how they can live together well and live with Him well, the Ten Commandments. So this way, the ways that God takes with us when He leads us into a new terrain is maybe not the shortest, it's maybe not the simplest, it's maybe not the most effective, but it's a way of blessing, the way of guidance. That doesn't mean that you should take the most difficult way always, because you're thinking that like that would probably be God's way. But there were generations of Christians who thought that the more difficult my way on earth is, the more it is God's way. But that's not what it's about. It's about finding God's way and going His way, whether it's difficult or easy. He knows what you need. You are a theologian, so in the end, I brought you a verse also from a theologian, from Dietrich Bonhoeffer. God's ways are ways that He went on Himself, and that now we walk with Him. No way He lets us go where He didn't go before us, and He is the way that God. It is the way that God made and protects for us to what we called us. So it's really His way. With God, you're not just standing on one place, but you step on the way. He goes before, and there's something moving, or you're not with God. So it's not about staying in one place, but you keep on going and you keep on going. Otherwise, you're not with God. God knows the whole way. We only know the next step and the last goal. There is no standing there. Every day, every hour, it continues. So you, Andy, are going on this way, and He goes before you. You go after Him. We will never be led by God somewhere where He doesn't know how the situation is that will be difficult ways sometimes. There will be painful ways. God Himself went a very painful way. God knows our ways. He goes before them. He goes on them before us. You don't have a single step to take alone. God gives us these moments of saying goodbye, and God Himself is on the move, and we don't stay on one place. He's on the move, but He doesn't want to go after us, but He wants to go before us. And if you go in these ways, then you can know God has already gone there.